What's going on, everyone? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another little video for you. We are here to react to our predictions that we made at the start of the season. Can't really remember what we said for a lot of the teams, but I can for some. So, but we certainly got some of it wrong. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. But we'll find out how badly now. And maybe I did get some things right. We'll see. But yes, do us a favor, smash that like button on it. Give us a subscribe if you're new. And play along at home. Can't really play along at home, can you? Watch along at home and get your thoughts in down below. But an awful season for Manchester United, a truly horrible season. I don't think anyone would have predicted quite as bad a season as this one. Yes, we could have predicted it was a bad season, but I don't think anybody saw this one coming. Horrendously gash season. I mean, let's get into it then, folks. So let's react to my predictions here. I'm a little bit nervous watching this one because how much of a melt am I going to look like? Let's watch. Ready? Let's get into it. Flying Pig United with another cheeky little video for you. This is a Premier League prediction for a start for the season coming, the 24-25 season. Hang on, for a start, how messed up do I look now compared to then? The season has done a bloody number on me. United have done a bloody number on me. I look like a mess these days. Look at how young and fresh face and handsome that was only 9 months ago or something. What's going on? Look at me. Look at me. No, seriously, I've put on a bunch of weight throughout the season and just generally don't look as healthy as I did then. So, not great, is it? And where we think teams are going to finish, etc. Let's get stuck into it. It's going to be raw. I think it's going to be a raw season ahead, mate. We shall see. I'll give you my thoughts on United in a little bit later on in the video when we get to it. But let's start off with the 20th position then, which is going to be, in my opinion, I think Ipswich Town. I know McKenna's done good things. Obviously, an easy prediction to make. They came up, but coming up to the Premier League is a stern test for anyone. If they're able to avoid relegation this season, it'd be nothing short of an absolute miracle. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I'm actually going to put them in dead last. I think 20th position for Ipswich, although there is some reports today, and I think it's complete now, actually, that they're going to be getting Calvin Phillips on loan, which could be a big loan signing for them for the season. But it's a tough ask to expect them to stay up. So I'm thinking 20th place, Ipswich Town, bottom of the league. Sorry, Kieran, lad, but that's how I view it. 19th position, then I'm giving to Southampton, one of those teams coming up. Okay, so we got them the wrong way round. It's tough to stay up. They do have a lot of Premier League pedigree and history, but doesn't really help them for right now. I think it's going to be a tough old season for Southampton, and I think they will end up getting relegated. But we shall see if the Saints are able to keep going, marching on, or if they will indeed march back on down to the Championship. We shall see. The team to get relegated at 18th position, I think, is going to be Brentford. I'm demanded about this one, whether or not to choose the other promoted team, but I think Brentford are finally going to drop out of the Premier League this season. Well, I've got that completely wrong. Didn't I? What an absolute melter of a prediction. What did I have against Brentford and Thomas Frank? I don't know. Where did they finish? 10th with 56 points. 14 more than Manchester United. So I had a complete mare there with Brentford. I apologise to Brentford fans. I don't know what I was thinking, to be fair. I just thought they were sort of tailing off the season before, maybe. I can't even remember. But Brentford relegated. I mean, I've had a mare there. I've had an actual mare there. Thomas Frank has done really good things for Brentford, no doubt about it. There's some discussions and talks about maybe Ivan Toney leaving this summer as well. We'll see if there's a transfer to be done there. Outgoing, if that happens, and it's going to hurt Brentford further. But they only finished in 16th place last season. They didn't have a great time of it in the end. They finished the season very weak. I've got a feeling it's going to be a struggle of a season for them. So I've just got a feeling it's going to catch up to them now. They're quite a small club in general, you know, in stature, and obviously they've done brilliant things, similarly to when Eddie Howe was at Bournemouth. Obviously, Thomas Frank's done brilliant things, but just a massive task to keep them in the Premier League every single year. They have done really good stuff in the past few seasons, but not last season. And I think this season's going to be a real struggle. So I'm picking them to drop off in 18th position, especially if they do end up losing Ivan Toney, who's a big goal scorer for them. 17th position then for Leicester City, newly promoted Leicester City. Okay, so Leicester obviously finished 18th well. We've got that experience there. He's got that dogged tenacity. There. I think he'll do all right with them. By all right, I mean avoiding relegation just. But they've got some experience in there, you know, the likes of Harry Winks, Connor Cody, Jamie Vardy having a party at 37 years of age. But I'm sure he's still going to get some goals for them and help them out. I mean, I've got a feeling they'll do 200 goals in their first season back in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest in 16th position, in my opinion. Oh, well, I don't think anybody could really predict that Nottingham Forest would go on and have the season that they had. They've done incredible. Where they finished in the end? 7th. They've got a European space. So fair play to them. It's incredible. They'll be slightly disappointed at the end they didn't get a Champions League spot, won't they? So incredible season. Nuno's done absolutely brilliant things, and I don't think anybody predicted them finishing as high as they did. But yes, 16th is a little bit out of hand, isn't it? Just a bit of a non-team, aren't they? Nottingham Forest, That's harsh, but, just whatever. Yeah, nice one. Nuno coming in, new manager, obviously, last season, replacing the outgoing Steve Cooper. I think they'll avoid relegation. I think they have a mediocre gash season, but I think Nuno will get them established and playing solid stuff and everything defensively. But meh. Morgan Gibbs-White will be a key player for them. Murillo got their player of the year last year. They got some decent players, but they certainly will be in a relegation fight, I think. This could be the season that Nottingham Forest go down. I've put them in 16th, but, I'm not convinced that they really have all that much. We'll see if Nuno can get them playing good, solid stuff. We know he's got experience in the Premier League, but shit team. They're a shit team, mate, and it's always difficult to keep a shit team up, isn't it, guys? Let's be honest here, It's tough for these managers. Any one of these teams that I've said so far in this prediction, they could easily be going down because they're all kind of a bit gash. Oh, I mean, crikey, all of these teams basically, apart from, the couple that got relegated, basically done better than Manchester United this season. That's harsh. That's harsh from me there. Harsh from me there. It's certainly going to have a shit season. Well, they didn't, did they? They had a very good season for them. So fair play to Nottingham Forest. You proved a lot of people wrong, and Nuno as well. Respect. Let's be honest, compared to the top side. So, yeah, good luck to you, Nottingham Forest, but I don't think there's going to be any robbing from the rich and giving to the poor this season. I personally, not for you anyway, I personally think you will be down there with the paupers, but there you go. Nottingham Forest, 16th position. 15th place I'm giving to Gary O'Neill's Wolves. He did really well with them. He's done really well with them last season and everything, and I think that they'll probably continue to play decent stuff and do all right, but he's always up against it there. Obviously, they lost Neto. Okay, so they finished 16th, didn't they? So we nearly got that one right.
Players
not too far away.
There. I don't know if they've really strengthened their position very much. I think they're just basically going to have a bit of a meandering season. So I'm going to pop them there in 15th position, guys. I'm going to give 14th place to Bournemouth. Lost Solanke. He provided, I think, about 19 goals for them last season, though. So that's going to be a big loss. Are they going to be able to replace? Got some good money for him, though. 65 mil for Solanke. You what? Got some good money for him, though. Good bit of transfer business going on there from Bournemouth, no doubt. But the thing is, though, are they going to be able to really sustain what they did last season, which was what was it? I think they finished about 12th, was it? I think in the end they had a pretty strong sort of season for them.
They did sustain it. In fact, they improved upon it, didn't they? They finished 9th. There was actually a time just a few weeks back, it seems like, where they were tussling for European spaces. Brilliant season by Bournemouth, absolutely brilliant. So fair play to them. They definitely went well above my expectation for them, and I chose 14th for them. They ended up finishing 9th. So fair play to the Cherries, and they proved me wrong there again. Another team to shout on my predictions. They used to call me Mystic Pig because I predict these things, but not anymore.
Avoiding relegation is always a massive success for Bournemouth, which I do think they'll do comfortably. I don't think they're going to get really too embroiled in that sort of relegation battle.
Let's just have a little vote in the chat, guys. Facial hair or no facial hair? Let me know. What do you think's best for me?
But I don't expect them to do anything too good either. So, yeah, I think that's probably about right for Bournemouth. 14th place, they'll feel the loss of Solanke. Are they going to spend towards the end of the window and have a bit of a flurry? We shall see. But got a feeling that they're in a reasonable position, Bournemouth, with the current setup, the current coach, and stylistically decent last season and definitely got a good bunch of results. So I think there'll be a lot of optimism around Bournemouth. But I'm going to say Brighton are going to occupy that 13th spot come the end of the season. I think they have a bit of a drop-off. Obviously, outgoing De Zerbi.
Well, I've had a bit of a mare here in general, haven't I? I don't even know if I should continue this video. This is a bloody embarrassment. But Brighton, another seaside town that I've shat on there, proverbially, by predicting that they finished low down. They actually did finish 8th in the end on 61 points. Had a very good season, a very good team.
On the back of Potter going, changes in managers, obviously. Potter, then De Zerbi keeping that sort of philosophy going. They've got a very talented squad there. New manager coming in, Herzler, though. Has done well, obviously, in Germany, but it's a different animal in the Premier League. I think he's a good, talented coach by all accounts, but different sort of kettle of fish dealing with the Premier League. This is where the big boys throw down, So they have got a good squad, though. Matoma coming back into their side as well will be a big boost for them, but just don't really think they're going to kick on. I think they're going to go backwards a little bit. Yeah, so I'm giving the Seagulls 13th place. No doubt they'll probably beat us, though, to be honest, when they come up against United. they seem to always want to feed us a hot chip and shart on us from a great height like the Seagulls that they are. So hopefully that's not the case this season. Hopefully we do doff them up twice would be nice, because just got a little bit of an annoyance with Brighton over the years, guys. Don't know about you. A little bit of a bogey team for us. Oh, you know, oh, we're Brighton. We're all nice. Oh, yeah, we're by the sea. Get some fucking fish and chips while you're here. Yeah, no, we won't. We're going to duff you up at the Amex. That's what we're going to do this season. We're going to have a curry instead. We're not interested in fish and chips this time, mate. All right?
You're right there. Hello, I'm Sean Dyche, and I think Everton are going to finish in 12th place this season. Feeling very confident about it, to be honest with you. We've got Tarkowski, obviously, in the back line. He's a little beast, and he'll be absolutely fine, obviously, and I'll keep feeding in those worms from the garden and make sure he's nice and strong. And, of course, we've also got Pickford, who's fresh off a fantastic performance in the European Championships. You've got to say, brilliant.
Right, well, apart from the horrendous Dyche impression there, I've almost got that one right, apart from the fact that obviously Dyche's been sacked off. But they finished 13th in the end. They had a bit of a stronger end to the season with Moisey coming in. Never really saw that one coming either. So, yeah, Dyche got sacked off. They were doing absolutely gash. Moisey turned it around and did really well, and now they're on a sort of good path, aren't they, Everton? So, almost got it right, but for all the wrong reasons.
What I was trying to say there is I think Dyche, they'll be solid defensively, won't they? I think Dyche will have them playing good, solid stuff, but I don't see them doing too much offensively, because let's face it, they won't blow the other end of the pitch away at all. So I think, yeah, that's about the right position for them. 12th place, they'll do all right this season, I reckon. 11th place, giving it to Fulham. Obviously, they lost Mitrovic last season. They finished in a comfortable sort of spot in the league last year.
Hey, we got one right, guys. Come on. Yes. We did get Fulham in 11th place. They finished in 11th with 54 points. So, you know, probably for all the wrong reasons again. Let's listen.
Sort of a team, aren't they? Marco Silva doing some decent bits over there. João Paulinho has gone to Bayern Munich. That's a big loss for them, though. You know, in terms of a defensive midfielder, he was an absolute beast, one of the best in the Premier League. Certainly in terms of combative, destructive, ball-winning midfielders, he's one of the best in the Premier League. They have signed Emil Smith-Rowe. I think they'll do okay. I just expect them to do sort of quite similar to how they did last season, really. So I'm just popping them in 11th place, really. They've lost Paulinho. That's a big blow for them. We'll see how they cope. But, yeah, expect a reasonable sort of season from them. Okay, so 10th place then, guys. That's going to have to be Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace have got a very...
Okay, Crystal Palace finished 12th in reality. And I said that they were going to finish 10th. I did think Palace were going to have a slightly better season, but they've ended up winning the cup, haven't they? So they'll be loving their season. 12th place in a trophy. I mean, they're absolutely buzzing.
Talented squad this season, very much so, with players like Mateta and Gahey, Elise, Easy, Wharton. Crikey, they have got some decent sort of players and ones for the future. If they can keep all those guys together, I think they'll have a good season this season, you know, I do. Obviously, they have got a new manager as well, which is interesting to see how he's going to cope, obviously, in a new league. But he has just come over from Eintracht Frankfurt. So you've got to say, last few seasons, he's been doing very well. So they've got an experienced manager, even if he's not bringing that Premier League experience. This guy's been playing in Europa League finals, winning Europa League finals and Champions Leagues, and managing and overseeing a good, successful team for the last few years. So I think that is actually a shrewd appointment there by Palace. I think he'll do pretty well with that very good squad that they've got, because they do have quite a crop of good talents in general. So I expect them to play attractive stuff. I expect them to do pretty well this season. 10th place is a bit of a dub for Crystal Palace, if we're being honest. Maybe they could even push a little bit higher than that for the reasons that I've just talked about. Oliver Glasner, you know, doing bits in Germany previously, and the fact that they've got a talented squad, I think they're going to do well and finish 10th, guys. Crystal Palace in 10th.
Right, well, yeah, I mean, not too far away with that one. They did win the trophy, as I say, so they'll be absolutely buzzing their titties off. But yeah, Oliver Glasner did do really well this season.
9th position, and I think West Ham, Julian Lopetegui.
Okay, no, West Ham sharted it.
Julian Lopetegui.
They started to finish the season a little bit better, but yes, 43 points for them. They finished just above Manchester United in 14th place in reality. We predicted them finishing higher up. I think West Ham fans, though, will be very disappointed with how their season went and where they finished, in all honesty. Come on. They didn't expect this much of a drop-off either.
Julian Lopetegui. Lopetegui. Ninth position, West Ham United. Decent last season. David Moyes outgoing. Julian Lopetegui coming in there to replace him. I think he'll probably do quite well. They have got quite a talented squad there. Decent sort of set of players, no doubt. Players like Bowen, Mohamed Kudu, Paqueta, you know, they've got a decent crop there. So I think he'll do all right with them. And obviously he's a pretty seasoned manager, experienced manager, so I think he can do quite well. Good luck to Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. He absolutely shat it, didn't he? Got sacked off and replaced with that Melt Potter. So I've had a bloody mare there, haven't I, guys? Oh, my God.
Well, you know, gutted to see him go, to be honest with you. I really wanted to keep hold of him, but he's going there. I think he might actually come back and bite us in the old a-hole there, guys, to be honest.
The Spider did.
In terms of if we come up against West Ham, they're
Aaron Wan-Bissaka did do that.
Spots in one or two of these
Got an
games.
assist against us.
Who knows? He could have a boss performance against us and it could cost us. But West Ham, you know, we shouldn't be rivaling them in the Premier League this season. We should be pushing for Champions League spots. But still, they are a Premier League rival. We let a player go there, whatever. We'll see. But good luck to him anyway. But West Ham, I think they're going to finish in 9th place and just sort of have a bit of a mediocre gash season, but they do have a good set of players, no doubt, who are passionate for the team.
Okay, so they finished in 14th place, literally above Manchester United. So they were rivals for us in the very strongest sense of the word, because they finished literally 1 point ahead of us. So pretty awful. Wan-Bissaka did come back to bite us a little bit, and I think he'll do well for them. So there you go. And obviously they got a different manager now, Potter. Totally different times for West Ham for next season, but yeah, interesting.
Okay, 8th place now, guys. We're getting serious. And I'm giving it to those meltbags Chelsea, to be honest. I don't think they're going to do too much better this season. You'd never know what's going to happen with Chelsea. They're a bit of a mishmash set of egomaniacs who just sort of all turn up, and they can play absolutely outrageously good, or they can play gash. They do have some great players, no doubt. You know, you've got to say players like Cole Palmer was absolutely obscenely good last season, one of the best players in the league. So they certainly got talents to do.
Well, see, he sort of dropped off towards the end of this season, hasn't he? He still had a great season, and the first part of the season was incredible by Cole Palmer yet again. But I have got this one wrong. Obviously, Chelsea in the end managed to get 4th place in a Champions League spot. I mean, it could have worked out differently for them at the end, where they've just missed out on that. But still, they were always going to finish higher than 8th, it seems. So I was shattered there. I underestimated Maresca and his squad there, and they've done a little bit better than I thought they were going to do. Fair play to them.
It'll change my mind, but as of right now, I think there's too many good teams above them. That's just going to make it too tricky for Chelsea to really hit the ground running and be one of those consistent winners this season. So I'm expecting a bit of another stuttering, spluttering, sharting season for them.
Well, I had a bit of a mare there. Obviously, yeah, Chelsea did better than I thought. Anyway, let's just move on.
Get in there. 7th place, the Geordies. Eddie Howe missing out on the Europa League due to Manchester United getting the FA Cup in our trophy cabinet. Get in there, my son.
Possibly a bit of karma there, guys. I don't know, laughing at the Geordies there for missing out when we obviously got into the Europa last season by beating them. But yeah, they finished 5th in the end. They had a good season. They've got Champions League football. They've got a trophy, the first trophy since, 1955 or something ridiculous like that. Fair play to them. They've had a good season, and I was wrong.
Nice one, Geordies. Unlucky, otherwise you'd have been playing in Europe. You're not playing in Europe, so that might actually help you a little bit this season, though. In terms of focusing on the Premier League, we're going to have that distraction of Thursday night football, which is a bit gash. Obviously, you want to be in it, but it is sometimes unwelcome. Sometimes
I'd love that Thursday night football next season now. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. Oh, in some ways, it's good that Manchester United obviously don't have it, so we can focus on the league and the domestic cups, and we'll not be running the squad so ragged. But gash that we don't have European football next season.
It's best to focus more on the league. But I just don't really see Eddie Howe's Newcastle breaking into the top 4 or 5 sides in the league with the teams that are currently competing up there. So I do think that that's probably quite a realistic position then to finish 7th place. Would that be a good season for Newcastle? No, but it also wouldn't be a bad season for Newcastle when you consider all the teams that are obviously competing around them and above them. Obviously, their manager, Eddie Howe, has been linked with the England job. Looks like he's staying there for now. Who knows what can happen in that instance as well. So who knows, maybe he starts the season well, they go on a big run and get that confidence and perhaps can really go and kick on and maybe push for a Champions League place. But I think what's most realistic is they sort of melt a little bit here and there like they did last season and finish around about 7th, and maybe at some point in the future Eddie Howe does go and take the England job.
This video is really
happening this season. And a pretty average season for Newcastle, similar to last season, what I'm going for. So 7th place.
Okay, so Newcastle obviously won a cup and finished 5th and qualified for the Champions League. Moving on, this is annoying me now.
Okay, so 6th place Spurs. I wanted to put them lower, but there's just too many teams in here. You've got to put them somewhere, don't you? So Spurs, 6th place for me. Look, Big Ange Postecoglou did really well with them last season. At the beginning of the season, they petered out as it went on, but they started really well. They do play like a proper good attacking, high up sort of, pressing style and everything, and they're going for it, and they're very sort of easy on the eye to watch under Postecoglou. He's done well. But he's not done that well. So they may have well got themselves some goals now with Timo Werner coming in on loan. And obviously now there's...
What? Okay, anyway, fair enough. Yes, we've got it totally wrong with Spurs. I don't think anybody predicted Spurs having just as charter of a season like Manchester United did as well. They did win the Europa League final, though, so let's face it, for Spurs, it's been a great season. It's their first European trophy since the 80s, I think, and, big respect to them for obviously doing that. Also, screw you, Spurs, for beating us in the final and taking our place in the Champions League next season. It's cash.
Well, I think the goals will leak. They were easily got at towards the end of the season last year defensively, and I think the same thing will happen again this season. So 6th place for those Spuds. 5th place then, guys. Had to think a lot about this. Who's going to get Champions League football? Who's going to miss out? Will United be able to bust into the Champions League spaces this season? I'm not so convinced. We have signed a good bunch of players, but are they top tier, or are they players that are going to develop over the next season or two into top tier players? I think there's an element of that to us. So who's going to finish in 5th place? Oh, guys, you know what? I've gone with Liverpool. You know why? Because fuck the Scousers. That's why, guys. And Arnie Slot's obviously coming in, taking over from Kloppy. Floppy Jalopy's just left. He was a very big manager for them. There's usually a nice drop-off after a big manager like that leaves and parts ways. It's kind of an end of an era. It's not quite Alex Ferguson vibes or anything like that. Or even Arsene Wenger at Arsenal. He wasn't there in terms of that longevity, but he was there a significant amount of time. He did win things for them. He did win them a Premier League, Champions League, that sort of stuff. It's a hard act to follow, is what I'm saying. So Arnie Slot coming in there, I think there's going to be a drop-off. He's got a talented squad there. I think they'll do well, but I don't think that they're going to be winning the league or anything. And I certainly think that they'll probably finish slightly worse off than last season due to the fact that the Klopp has left. So because of that, guys, I am giving them 5th place. If you've watched my channel recent weeks, I've been talking about United struggling to get Champions League football this season and probably finishing 5th.
Yeah, we got it a little bit wrong there with Liverpool, lads, and that happens sometimes, But yeah, I didn't really see them having the season that they had. There has been no challenge from any other team this season, has there? It's been made easy for them and Slot. But fair play to Slot coming in there. I mean, it's sad to say, but they actually finished on exactly double the amount of points as Manchester United this season. That's absolutely sickening. So they got 84, we got 42. They've won the league. So fair play to them. I didn't really see it happening. Slot's come in and done brilliant things and just taken over from Klopp like seamlessly, it seems. Salah's had his best season ever pretty much, and they've just had an incredible season. So fair play to them. I didn't see it happening, and if you did see it happening, fair play to you. But I think most of us probably thought that after Klopp leaves, there probably will be a little bit of a drop-off. But fair play to Slot. He's answered everyone there. Gesh.
But when I actually think about it and think about the potential drop-off that Liverpool can have, and if we get it right this season, which is a big if, but the likes of Erik ten Hag being able to get United to play well with the squad of players that we've got, we have got some very good, talented players. We signed some decent players.
Who did we sign that's decent? No, to be fair, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Xerxes got potential, but nobody groundbreaking. I mean, certainly you look at all of Erik ten Hag signings in the past, people like Gashmas Boylan stinking up for us, Onana, Anthony got loaned out, etc. It's been an absolute calamity. Thank you, Ten Hag, you Dutch Konjac melt.
In theory, we should be better off than last season, so I think there's going to be an improvement. So I've just gone for Liverpool sharting it just that little bit more than United managed to this season because of the drop-off from Klopp going and a new manager coming in. And also, they haven't done any business transfer-wise. So we've done business. A lot of other teams have done business, but Liverpool haven't done any business. And, okay.
They didn't really need to do much business, did they? They signed that Chiesa. It didn't even really have that much of an impact or play that much. So they didn't really need anyone, it turns out.
They've got a talented squad of players. They've got big players in there. Darwin Núñez is going to score them 2 goals, and Salah's still going to be there doing bits. But they just haven't really kicked on, and obviously it's sort of an interesting transitional sort of season with the manager change. I think there's going to be a drop-off, guys. At least I hope there's going to be a drop-off. So 5th place for the Scousers, guys. Okay, which means Manchester United in 4th place, guys. I do think we are going to get that Champions League spot now with some of the signings that we've made, if things go swimmingly, if things go to plan, if Ten Hag's Ajax style of play and everything actually comes into fruition and we start to see a little bit of better quality from United. We can't concede anywhere near as many chances, goals. We can't be so wasteful in front of goal. We're going to have to be a lot more clinical this season. We've signed Xerxes up there to obviously help out. We don't want to have the same injury issues that we did last season. That really cost us. Hopefully we keep players fit for more of the season, but we do have an injury-prone crop of melts. Yoro's just come and got injured. Hoyland's injured at the start of the season. It's not good. Luke Shaw's just got injured again for 6 weeks or however long he's going to be out with a pie-related injury. It's serious, guys. We do have an injury-prone crop of players. So if we can keep them fit, though, I think we'll have a much better season than last season. I think we're just going to squeak into the 4th place. I'm trying to be optimistic. New signings should help us, obviously. De Ligt should bring a cool cool head at the back there, hopefully playing out from the back alongside Martinez and with Mazraoui to the right of him potentially.
I mean, most of these players have been injured all season long, haven't they? I mean, De Ligt came in, didn't really have much of an impact. He looks a good player, obviously. We've had a lot of injury issues at the back there.
Or Dallo, you know, you've got some very good balls.
I can't believe I predicted Manchester United to finish 4th. Goodness me, I must have been smoking on some Erik ten Hag Dutch special there. Definitely some Amsterdam Spech from Eric, because that is crazy, guys. What was I thinking? I mean, I don't think anybody really thought we'd finish 15th, but maybe I was being a little optimistic by putting us in 4th place. Yeah.
All playing defenders there. The midfield is an issue for United. We've got to improve that midfield area. If Ugarte can come in there or somebody else who can really help that midfield out, I think we're going to do well, because we've got really great wide players. We've got a good couple of forwards now. You know, they're young, they're hungry. I don't think our forwards are going to compete with the top strikers in the world this season for goals, but I think they're on the progression. You know, they're getting better. Obviously, they're young. If players like Rasmus Højlund get back fit and continue to develop well, then in the future we should have a real top tier set of players. But right now there is a little bit of development that still needs to take place for some of the youngsters that we're signing. I think we're signing the right sorts of players under the right sort of age to develop the team for the future, but also for now as well. So it's a bit of a balance going on there. But Eric,
oh, I got that wrong, didn't I, there, folks? Big time. These players that we signed in terms of progression, I don't think anybody's progressed at all. Look at Rasmus Højlund, goodness me, he's gone backwards. He's now basically a under-9s youth player. He's gone backwards somehow. I don't know what's happened, but crikey, mate, I got it wrong there, didn't I? Embarrassing.
Ten Hag future, but also for now as well. So it's a bit of a balance going on there. But Erik ten Hag worked cut out for himself this season. He will be sacked off, I think, at some time throughout the season if we're ever languishing down there in, you know, 7th, 8th, 9th place, anything like that. I think he will be sacked off and we'll have to look at bringing in a new manager. Hopefully that doesn't happen this season. Hopefully his signings that he's brought in, which are still classic Ten Hag style signings, hopefully to try and work towards playing that total football, that Ajax style type of football with real good pressing and really good team in transition and all this stuff that Erik ten Hag talks about. Hopefully he's able to actually do that at United.
He wasn't able to do that. He shat it raw and got sacked off. We got one thing right again in this video, but not much so far, not much. A couple of things. We predicted Fulham in the correct position and Erik ten Hag to be sacked off, and that's about it
this season. But I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle here and there. We should hopefully be a bit better than last year. Bruno Fernandes signing a new contract's a big thing. Look, we have got some great players in our team. You know, Bruno being one of them. He's one of the best players in the world in his position that all the teams would want if he was available. He's not available. He's signed a new contract to United. So this is good stuff. Plus, we've now sorted out a lot of the back room at United. Dan Ashworth coming in from Newcastle. Maybe
he got sacked off as well not long after, didn't he? Crikey.
That will hinder Newcastle as well a little bit. And other Omar Barada coming in, lots of people coming in. We need Erik ten Hag to do well this season and to kick on and get this team playing better stuff. If not, it's going to be bye-bye Eric soon enough. And that'll be a sad day, of course, because you don't want to see us chopping and changing managers. This is make or break season time now for Erik ten Hag. You've got to do the business, Eric. He's signed players. We've got quite a few players in now. You know, Yoro's come in. Obviously, De Ligt has come in, Mazraoui, and we're looking to try and bring in you.
To be fair to him, all those 3 signings we've got in this window just gone, they're not bad signings, are they? Mazraoui's been good. I think De Ligt will be good. Still young enough. He's, what, 24, 25? Yeah, he has had some injury issues. Yoro looks a bit injury prone, but Yoro looks class. If he can stay fit, I think we've got ourselves a special player there. So yeah, thanks for that parting shot, Eric, there. But shame about the other 10 melts you signed for 600 million you prep.
Garte too as well. And of course, Xerxes, you know, we've signed quite a few players this summer already, and there still might be a little bit of action to be had. We've had a couple of players leave. We need to do a bit more in the window, but I think it's been quite a decent window so far. 1 or 2 more signings would make it perfect. Left back spot's going to be an issue for us as well. Would love to see a left back come in. People say Mazraoui can play there. Well, he can, and so can Dallo, but neither of them are proper left backs. We need a left back to come in my opinion, though. Amas looks a real good young talent. So,
well, we got Dorgu in January. Doesn't break any ground, though, does it, really, at the moment? So, yeah.
The future's bright for Manchester United. With
Oh! Is it? I think that's the worst prediction we made in this whole video. The future's bright for Manchester United. I mean, maybe long term. Like, we want to get these Glazer shithouses out of this club, really. That's the only way we're going to progress forward. But that in itself as a statement is embarrassing.
The squad and the young players that we've got in the squad. But for this season, I think we just need to work on getting better, progression. Champions League football should be our goal. If we just miss out on Champions League football and finish 5th, I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world, because we just do need to progress. We need to get back on the right track.
I mean, we'd take that, wouldn't we, now, obviously, if we'd have finished 7th, 6th,
We'd have taken that all day long with the shit season we've had.
Ineos hopefully will be able to oversee that this season.
Ineos, you're a joke, by the way, making all those cuts and decisions that they've made since they've come in. You've overseen a bag of shite, Ineos.
Ten Hag's got some help in the backroom staff as well now, or his coaching staff, I should say, with people like Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in. And hopefully that will help with the way that we play our football.
It didn't. Ruud took over for a few games and then he actually did well as interim. And then obviously we got Amarim, but no, it didn't.
To help us to maybe just be better in terms of playing in the final third. Maybe he can help these forwards that were so gun-shy in front of goal last season to perhaps work on their movement, whatever, finishing training, just the approach, the mentality that somebody like that can help you bring to your game should be hopefully very, very positive for Manchester United this season. So come on, United, do us all a favour this season. Let's step up, let's perform, let's do the bit. Man United is a club that should definitely be in the Champions League, not in the Europa League guff. So we have to make Champions League football our goal this season. And
just basically talking like this, assuming that we're going to, at minimum, get Europa League. Goodness me. I feel like an entitled prick sometimes. But I really didn't think that United would do what they did. Nobody did. Come on, it's easy to say now, but nobody thought they were going to finish bloody 15th.
We have to see a much better style. We have to see much better play and much more convincing results as well. Winning when we should be winning, not conceding so many chances and awful calamities and goals all the time. We've got to be better. The goal difference should never be -1. That's ridiculous. So we've got to see a much more improved Manchester United, or it's going to be Ten Hag's job, to be fair. But I predict us to have a better season, actually. So I think with the changes that we made, the additions that we made, there will be slow progress with United this season. Will it be that extreme where we're going to be challenging for titles, winning major trophies? I don't think so, personally. But I think a 4th place finish for United this season would be good progress for United. Maybe we should be trying to aim for higher than that, but I'm just trying to be realistic. There's just teams that are way further ahead than us and better than us at this moment in time. So sadly, 4th place is about as best as I can hope this season. That's where I think we're going to finish.
Just going to pause the video and have a little cry, guys.
I'm giving 3rd place to Aston Villa this season, though. Even though they've got Champions League football to contend with this season, I think that they've kicked on.
They did quite well in the Champions League, didn't they, Villa? Fair play to them. They finished 6th in the end, just off of Champions League spots based on goal difference. So it wasn't a million miles away. Thought they'd have a little bit of a stronger season, but they were contending with the Champions League, which makes it more difficult. So I think that's probably the reason they didn't finish in the top sort of 5. But they just lost out in the Champions League spots there due to goal difference.
They probably will feel the strain of playing extra games on those Wednesday, Tuesday nights, of course. No, it's just got a feeling that Emery's going to do well this season in the Premier League. He's a great coach, top coach, good team there, establish a good mentality, way of playing over there, and I think that they'll just continue to do that this season. So I'm going to say that they finished 3rd, guys. 2nd place finish for the Arsenal Hollands. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I think this is the second team that we've actually predicted in the correct spot. Easy to sort of predict that because Arsenal they're always the bridesmaid and never the bride. So that was quite an easy prediction, I think, that one.
They've signed Cauliflower this summer, whatever. They're just always bridesmaid, never a bride. They're absolute perennial melters.
Told you. I was a bridesmaid, never a bride. Do I just say that every time I talk about Arsenal? I must.
Mikel Arteta will shart. He's always going to be Pep's bitch boy. As far as I'm concerned, he is a good coach. He has done well at Arsenal, but he's going to be Pep's bitch boy. It's not his fault. Man City.
Well, they actually finished above Man City this season in the end, so fair play to Pep's bitch boy there.
You're a bunch of cheating bastards. They'll continue to achieve and win things while they're allowed to cheat. But Arsenal Hollands will be quite high up there. They'll be doing well. They'll be playing nice football, scoring a lot of goals, doing well. They've added to this side. They've got a talented squad of players, but ultimately Arsenal Hollands are Arsenal Hollands. And what's an Arsenal Holland? Well, it's a hole. And what do holes do? Well, lots of things, but in this instance,
they shart. It seems, but definitely they sharted it in the Champions League semis, obviously, and they weren't able to mount any sort of serious title challenge.
They leak and they shart it, and that's what Arsenal Hollands do. So I think that's probably what's going to happen is they will just ultimately fall a little bit short again this season and just bottle it in second, and that's.
Well, we got that right, guys, but that's easy to predict. Arsenal Holland's bottling it, and they did indeed, as it turns out. I mean, obviously, compared to us, they've had a good season because they've got top 4 Champions League football. They got to a semis. There's definitely some positives there. They're on the right track, unfortunately. But, yeah, still, they haven't won anything, have they?
Probably about as good as they can hope for, really. So, yeah, Arsenal fans, sorry, but I think you guys are going to melt in second place there. Which means that first place is Manchester City Scummers. Yeah, whatever. Don't even want to talk about these scumbags. They're cheating bastards.
Obviously, they've got some great talents in their side. They've signed some talents in their side. They have lost 1 or 2 players, whatever. You know, Pep's a cheating bastard. He's just going to cheat his way to the title again because City are allowed to cheat, guys. And they are just cheats.
I mean, I stand by that. They weren't able to cheat themselves to the final, though, or to the... I mean, I stand by that. They weren't able to cheat themselves to the title. They had a ropey season by their standards. Unfortunately, those scummers did finish third in the end, though, and have secured Champions League football next season, which is gash. It was looking like at one point they might finish outside the top 5, and that would have been funny. But no, all of the worst things happened possible at the end of the season, didn't it, for Manchester United? We lost to Spurs in the Europa, we bottled out on a Champions League spot, and City were able to finish in the Champions League spaces, and Liverpool won the league. So it's literally like the shittest season ever.
And they're allowed to cheat. And as long as they're allowed to cheat, they'll win. And that's the way I look at it, really, guys. They should be punished. They should be knocked right down to the bottom of the Football League.
Hang on, what the fuck's going on with all that nonsense? 115 charges FC, are they just making that go away? Time just keeps going on and on and on. It's been brushed under the carpet, it seems. Brown paper bags under the table. What the fuck's going on? When's that going to come to fruition? When are they going to get sacked off? When are they going to get fined, point deduction, rescinded trophies, relegated? When's that going to happen? Disgraceful.
My opinion, they should be starting this season in League Pigging too, or even the conference, if you ask me if there was any justice in this world. But as Lamar says, there isn't. So I don't really believe that they will fail this season, even though, you know, there's an expectation that maybe Arsene Holland can do well and kick on. They've lost Julian Alvarez. If there's any issues with Erling Haaland, they might feel it up the top there. But they've got some great players, guys. I just don't believe that they're going to feel it that much. They've got a very powerful, deep squad. So City will probably win the title again, and they'll cheat their way to it. And they don't deserve it at all, and they're a bunch of scumbags. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. The Fantasy Football League link is at the top of the live chat once again.
Okay, guys, so yes, there you go. I completely shat it with my predictions. We only predicted, I think, 2 things right, which was Arsenal finishing 2nd place and Fulham finishing in 11th place. Everything else was wrong. I think we did predict, obviously, Ten Hag getting sacked off was a likely thing as well. That came true. There were some interesting managerial changes throughout the season, which are hard to predict. And generally, we've completely shat it. There you go. Won't be doing this again, guys. We're reacting to Premier League predictions. That's a mugs game. I feel like an absolute tit now, but there you go. Mystic Pig, I ain't. Yes, nice one. All laugh at me down in the chat, whatever. I don't give a shit. You wouldn't have got it right either. It's hard. Nobody saw Man United finishing 15th. Anyway, terrible season for United. Let's put that one behind us. I can't wait to start the next season with a whole new squad. Hopefully that's what's going to happen. Backhammer him in the summer transfer window with big transfers. And hopefully we'll see something different next season. So, yeah, pressure's on. Of course, we will be doing another Premier League prediction video at the start of the new season, but we'll wait until, you know, it's closer to the start of the season, obviously, and we've signed players and see what the squad shape's looking like. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. That's it from me today. An absolute debacle of a video. Smash that like button on it, though. Thank you so much for watching this one and throughout the season. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Get your thoughts down below. And mockery if that's what you're into. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.